but I saw him in the comments. So he here now. Talk to the people.
Peace. It's on purpose, Mr. Get banned in 37 seconds. I'm just here. You know what I mean? Just, happy that I've been on camera this long.
They let you live.
Okay. Father of 2 girls. That's how that go.
God damn. None of us could have a boy in this joint.
At all.
I have 2 girls as well. We all just, it is what it is.
It's a house of estrogen up in this piece.
For real.
Hey, look, now we got a whole different conversation. First of all, how do y'all maintain sanity in a house full of women? My ladies are cool. They're not crazy. None of that. I don't get a lot of drama, so I'm good for the most part. What about y'all?
You see it?
I go to Pluto every day, a couple times a day. You know what I mean? Just to get away for a little bit. Me and Pluto, I'm a frequent flyer to Pluto.
Fair enough.
Pluto Nash over there.
Shortbus is like, bruh, that used to be my route, but this is different.
Yeah, hey, it's easy work, man. You just got to keep learning and progressing and accepting things. We're totally different creatures, but man, it's a beautiful thing. I couldn't imagine myself with sons now. Having 2 daughters, it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
I agree. I tell people all the time, I'm like, ain't nothing better than having daughters. I don't know what y'all like. Y'all can say what y'all want. I know dudes be like, I want a son, blah. I didn't care in the beginning, and I'm good. I have no complaints.
Nope, I'm good. Because if I had a son, he would have been like me, and that'd have been too much work.
I'm the only person, and I guess that I still get upset occasionally that I did not have a boy. And I was totally honest to the missus when we thought our second daughter was going to be the boy. That's kind of why she's my namesake in Danielle instead of Daniel, because I really thought we was having a boy, but then it wasn't. I was down for like a day, and then I got over it. And then when we had our third child, Zoe, which I like to jokingly say she was the oops, like she legitimately was like the oh shit, we're having another one. It was like, yeah, I know it's gonna be a girl.
No, I didn't even know I could have a 4th box, yo. This is brand new information. I'm just learning this right now. I can have a 4th box. Gray hair.
You must got 6.
He's back.
I might have 6. Okay, we're gonna see. Gray hair, you in here now. If you got 2 minutes, go ahead and talk to the people.
Bing bang. My name is GrayHairWhere. I'm not as famous as the rest of you guys, but I'm a dad, daughter. I have twin girls and I have a 20-year-old son. I'm a motivational speaker and a survivor of traumatic loss. And I'm just an old-fashioned cat, homie, that bumps, and I like to help my community, man.
Tell the people real quick about I know you can talk about it all day, but
you want me to give my 45-second speech?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, I'm a dad of daughters, and I have twins. They would be 26, but one of my daughters at 17, she ended her journey by herself, and so instead of going absolutely off the deep end and going crazy, I walked through all of those emotions and feelings completely void of any mind or mood altering substance so that I could completely understand the value and the gravity of the event.
And you got
through that journey, what I've done is I've learned more about myself than I could ever be taught. And on an emotional level, I try to express the importance of communication to others. And it's very difficult for me because I won't sell out and I won't be mass media and I'm not going to clean up my message. I give it to you raw and uncut and nasty, like you get it on your dinner table. And my whole purpose is to give you information that I have gathered from a place that no one as a parent ever wants to go. I've been there and I've kept my things together enough to share what it looks like on the other side. So it's important to me as a human to share that with other men of color, other women, other men of non-melanin, just humans, because the essence of life now, being blessed with it and then having to walk through losing it, I understand the importance of interactions like this.
Respect,
Right,
respect.
right there, real quick, to
Yes,
say,
sir.
when you said that about your daughter, that like took a shot straight to the heart, because 2019 I was in that place with
So,
myself. You know what I'm saying?
so,
And I was there, like, I felt like a complete failure to everyone around me, my family. I felt like my daughters and my wife would do better without me, and
so
I almost got there.
you see this whip, right? You see this whip? You see this whip, right? So that's my daily driver. I'm a retired journeyman electrician because I suffered from suicidal ideations on the job. And I asked as a man in this world for help that they offered. And the help that they offered was basically just to minimize my experience and then give me my walking papers. I could be upset about that if I wanted to, but that doesn't improve the situation. So what I did, like you, sir, I put names on my truck of people that I've met on social media, including my daughters. And I use that as a reminder every day because I have to drive to go to work. I have to drive to provide for my family. And I have those thoughts and those choices every day, as we do, all of us. But that for me is a tangible reminder that suicide is real, mental health is real. The less we talk about it, the more it exists. So I do it in a non confrontational way and in a very selfish way as well, because I decorate my vehicle not to impose on you, but to just express myself without saying a word.
Yeah, I respect that, because that's like everybody's kind of has their own thing and way to snap out of it. And like I said, me personally, um, it eventually dissipated. That
Mm-hmm.
thought and that feeling just dissipated, and it
Mm-hmm.
definitely takes different things for other people. And I commend you and send you sincere condolences that your daughter unfortunately went that route. But
Well,
you know
you know,
you
I,
utilize that as a reminder that you're still here, you're still doing your thing for your family, and I commend you for that, because this shit,
right,
it's very real. And I
right,
too, I'm not afraid to share my story. I've told
right,
it on my podcast several times over, because
right. And
it's
see,
very,
and that's really what uh it's really what I'm on this app for, man. I'm not on this app for friends and family, you know what I mean, and followers and fame. I'm really this is the most popular way to get information out. Um I've done podcasts, I did a docu-series on Netflix, um, or not on Netflix, on YouTube, and I love to share my story. So if anyone would like to hear my take on mental health and surviving that, I would love to come and share on anyone's medium or platform. But I wanted to touch on one thing before I stop. My daughter's mission and my daughter's goal and my daughter's journey was to teach me I cannot be upset at her absence. I can only show absolute respect to her existence. She taught me so much in her existence, but I understand so much more in her absence.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And when you can turn something negative and disheartening into something that's positive and some sort of growth, that's where we all come from. I've been in some dark places. I went to prison at 17. I went through child abuse, homelessness. I've been stabbed. The works, and I remember being in some real dark places and wanted to end myself and tried to end myself a few times. And I'm thank God and thanks to principles of like Alcoholics Anonymous and sobriety and my daughters and just family in general, getting a chance to learn and grow through the whole experience. And now you were saying something about being a motivational speaker. Me too, as well. I do it in a few different areas, and those, your story and losing someone that close is nothing shy of a powerful tool that you can help others. And that's, I think, is your destiny, is to use those instances and stories to embrace other people, to help them out of those dark places, because a lot of people don't get out of those dark places, and it looks like you're shining right now. So salute to you, good sir. Salute to you.
Oh man, every day when I wake up, man, you win when you wake up, and everything after that is a choice. And a lot of people, well, my perception and my perspective is everything is a choice after you're given the opportunity to open your eyes, right? And
Facts.
so with everything, every shortcoming and everything that we have suffered from in our past, those are lessons that we've learned. I don't make mistakes. I present myself with learning opportunities.
Big facts.
Therefore,
Yeah.
I have a choice to remain in that ignorance, or to trust my intellect and my experience and push my fears and my boundaries just that much further.
Yeah.
Right? Because I pose this question to people all the time. If your fears of communicating your needs are hindering your growth, I ask you this. Would you stop yourself from asking someone, of a perfect stranger, to save your life? If your life depended on it and you were minutes away from dying and you were surrounded by strangers, would you stay silent?
Sometimes the stranger sometimes has an upper
That's
hand
not
than someone else.
that's not the point of the question. The point of the question is the ease of communication and the social boundaries and barriers that we put upon ourselves that stop us from communicating what we really need rather than what we feel. Because a lot of times, men in our situations, we become elevated socially, and our attitudes and our emotions are misunderstood. So
Fact.
therefore, we are the problem, not our problem. So I ask people to not be the problem, but to address the problem.
Right. This is hard because people unfortunately suffer in silence. And I kind of, when I fought that battle, it was a part of it was like having that feeling of being ashamed to even speak about it. But then it took the breakthrough of just telling my wife in bed, like, yo, like I started crying, like I don't feel like I need to be here anymore. And not on some divorce shit. Like I just like I didn't no longer need to feel like I needed to be. And what I remember now kind of what it took for me to snap out of it. I'm only 42 now, and I realized like, yo, I want to be a grandfather one day. Like I want to see what my oldest daughter get into college and what she does with life, because she has been an amazing child so far. I want to see
Mhm.
my other kids. First and foremost, my anniversary on my job is this Sunday, tomorrow. I start year 16 on my job. I want to get to retirement. I want to what I like to say, beat the game and live 10 years past my retirement date, because that's how I win off of the city. I got to beat the game that way. And so it started to become things like that were building inside me to say, you know what, nah, I can't do that. I can't do it. Making little personal situations get better here and there, but it was like, yeah, I can't do it. And now my purpose, more or less now, besides trying to gain more success in what we do as a podcast, trying to see my people win, is again.
Man,
Can't hear you all of a sudden. Go ahead.
I'm in the
Oh,
hood. Sorry. It's
oh,
trash day. It's
got
trash
you.
day.
And
They,
that's
they got to
I,
come get their shit.
that's what I do for a living. I just took my work hoodie off just to not. I'm not showing the logo and all that,
Yeah.
but but yeah, man, just the want to live now is like, yo, there's still better, and I
Yeah.
want to be a grandfather if my daughters choose to have children. That is.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not funny, but it's funny that I randomly talked to y'all about this, and this is what happened. Purpose is like, where? How did I thought we were talking about hip hop? I know.
Oh no,
Well,
I
life,
just didn't want to overtalk any of them. I relate totally.
man. Listen.
2018, I lost my oldest daughter.
Oh,
I relate totally. I just didn't want to overtalk anyone.
Respect, respect.
and
Blue.
see, Mike too is people get too focused, and I gotta say it like this: people get too focused when using the word hip hop and only talking rap. This conversation here is hip hop because
And
hip hop is the culture.
and you know what's
Word.
even more hip hop? Not to cut you off, but a lot of those dark times I was talking about, you know how many times I would ride out to some hip hop and would alleviate a lot of that. And, you know, especially when you was a little kid and everybody else, you were a lot poorer than all the other kids in the neighborhood. You know, they had the Super Nintendo, and then you could drift off and actually relate to a lot of that music. And it helped you get through a lot of stuff. It truly did. And I think that's the reason I even started picking up a pen, is because my idols were like Rakim and Public Enemy and Tupac and Bone Thugs and, you know, things of that nature. And you can relate to it a whole lot. So hip hop, for me, I'd say besides sobriety and the things I named before, rap music's one of the main reasons I'm even alive. You know, certain songs about recovery and sobriety and overdosing and alcoholism. You know, there's such a wide variety of problems that hip hop kind of touches on, and you know, doesn't make you feel so alone. So shout out to that. Powerful.
Well,
Respect.
you
Yeah.
know,
Respect.
we were all raised by hip hop. We all the hip hop. We the first generation hip hop raised is us right here. Who we
Listen,
talking to? That's
Yeah.
us.
I'm
Okay,
gonna tell you.
like we
I
was
go do
raised by hip hop.
I go do karaoke sometimes, right? And my go-to smasher is Rapper's Delight, and I don't read the prompter, and people look at me like, "Yo, what is it? Who is it?" You know what I mean? And I tell them
Uh,
that's
Every
what I
one of
grew up
us in
on.
here could do rappers delight, buddy.
Yeah,
And
we,
one
we
no,
was
another
raised on hip hop. Every one of us in here could do rappers delight.
and
right.
another piece of irony sauce about, again, bringing the universe together and how small this world is. I used to run a hip hop karaoke on Staten Island,
That's right.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I had put up a challenge for people to do the full 15-minute version of Rapper's Delight.
Word.
Yeah,
But see, now the thing with our hip hop karaoke was, I got the idea from my peoples in Jersey. The focus was more, it wasn't reading a prompter because we
right.
didn't give you the words. We
It was
gave you
stage
the
presence.
instrumental. Your stage presence had to, it was more reminiscent of like a hip hop honors show where you
Okay,
came up
okay,
and did
okay.
your favorite song, but you knew the words. But
Right.
if
Yeah,
you got, you could have draked the
yeah.
situation and pulled the phone out and looked at it, which was cool, but it was all fun. I might try
Uh
to clip up some of the videos and post them on my page. On what? No, actually, if you scroll way back in my beginning days on TikTok, I did
huh.
post a couple clips. Like my boy, I think my boy D, when my boy Dizo did Brooklyn Zoo, and you can see how
Okay.
we used to do it. But yeah, again, hip hop. This is what this culture, and I'm a person who stresses to the death. This culture is what brings this together. Conversations like these, where we could talk about mental health, is
Right.
important to this culture because it's
Right.
culture. It's culture over everything.
Yeah.
Then the elements within the culture add to what Shortbus mentioned and how it saved him. Add
Right.
to inspiring my second tattoo and where it all started, the DJ. Add to actually my DJ name writing and the graffiti aspect that some will debate is not hip hop culture. This is a
That's
conversation
hip hop culture.
I've had with you
It's
before.
hip hop
Definitely hip
culture.
hop culture.
It is. Oh no, it is. I
Yeah.
identify it as. But if you listen to videos from the OG writers like Lady Pink and Scene, and even Grandmaster Flash will say it's technically not because it started before hip hop culture started, and it was done by people who were listening to rock music, disco, jazz, and all that. That's why the
Yeah.
old debate it, but we've adopted it as far as one of our core four elements from the beginning. So
Yeah.
it's hip hop, but we as a culture also got to get past that machismo shit of, yo, nah, I don't talk about my feelings. I don't talk about this and that and the third. That's why a person like a Kendrick can get off the way he does, because he is expressing his feelings. He's telling real
Right.
shit, real stories and shit. through a
Yeah.
whole album. You know, DJs as far as like a say like
Well,
I like to go to my personal go Cuber. When you're listening to him scratch, he's damn near his scratching is like performing lyrics in a song,
Yep.
telling a
yeah,
story. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? The
yeah,
writing is telling the story.
yeah.
DJ in itself is taking you on a journey of emotions. Like
Well,
we need to stop being afraid of expressing emotions
I
within a
mean,
culture that was designed for the counterculture to be able to express themselves.
if you look back in history, man, the most famous and notable people are storytellers.
Exactly.
They're the
Definitely.
people that carry the heritage and the lineage and all of those things, and like you said, socially, I feel, because suicide and mental health we're not talking about it. That's what we're missing is the talking element. And what upsets me, or really not really upsets me, but confuses me and makes me wonder when, is our folks in the 50s and in the 60s had less numbers and would speak out more. And now we have more numbers and we speak out less.
It
And
depends on what you're
that be,
talking.
huh?
It really depends on what you're talking as far as speaking out. Because if you're talking social justice and things like that, the platforms are more expansive now. And our form of speaking out is totally different from the 50s and the 60s, where the 50s and the 60s, that generation of people was told to suck it up, shut up,
Yeah,
don't leave the house. This
right.
stays in the church and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah,
But nowadays, the younger generation, this is where the millennials and the Gen Zers get props. They are showing us older folks. And I don't even think thank you, Shortbus, for not making me be the youngest here today. I'm usually the youngest around at 40 something. But, but this generation of the millennials and Gen Zers are teaching us that it is okay to speak out. You know, I
oh
come
yeah,
from the sports background where yeah, yo, all right, can you how many fingers I got up? Okay,
yeah,
you can shake it off, get back on
yeah,
the field, get back on the
yeah,
court. Are you
yeah,
injured or are you hurt? Now there is a
yeah,
difference between the two, but
yeah.
Mhm.
the older generation was Ronnie Lott. I'm getting back on the field after I chop my freaking
Put my
finger.
Snip,
finger on
You know what I'm
snip,
saying? But this generation is,
snip.
nah, I'm not risking those millions. Yeah, I'll sit out. You know what I'm saying? But they're not afraid to say, "No, fuck that. There's a problem going on. I need to handle
Yeah.
it." And they're
No, I
teaching us that.
yeah, I give props to that, but like I guess for me, yeah, I understand. I understand your point. I understand your point. And just in time, certain things, they come to the forefront and they become more prevalent, more easy to speak of.
Right.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Well, I
Well, hey,
guess
Oh, this
man.
is hip
I
hop,
guess
y'all.
I'll go ahead. Go ahead, Graham.
Don't get this
I,
twisted. This is all hip hop.
oh yeah, this is what this is a human thing, and and hip hop is human. It really is. It draws from all origins. If you really want to
Well,
get funky, if you
the
really want to get funky with it, it draws from all elements. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and the fifth
And
and the sorry, go ahead.
nah, and so yeah, man, it's just it's a universal communication thing.
Yeah,
That's all it
and,
is,
and
and the breakdown of that. But I wanted to say this before because I got to get some shit done at the pad. I'll sit here and chop it up with y'all all day. My wife would be hot as fuck. But anyways, I didn't want to speed past or overlook what I Me on Purpose said. I wanted to give you the same respect and props that was offered to me about your loss of your child. Um,
Yes,
I
definitely.
didn't, I didn't, I didn't want that to go. You know what I mean? I didn't want that to go unheard because that's important. And listen, y'all can hit me up if y'all know anybody who is in need of some help. You can always hit me up on the DMs, and I'll give you my personal digis, and we can get down like that. But Source, I gotta send you some gear as soon as my pockets get a little bit fatter. I'm gonna hit the hoodie section. So
And I'm gonna hit the PO box section and finally get that
Yeah,
joint.
you better do something. Listen, do something, or listen, mail it to your grandmama's house, next door neighbor, like we used to do back in the day, to an empty
For real.
vacant apartment and shit, and just
Empty
go
house.
roll up
Yeah.
on it. You know what I mean? Yeah, you used to roll. I'm gonna send it to my neighbor's house because they out of town. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, just do something like that, and I'll hit you with some gear, and above all else, man, just be well and stay positive. You know what
Yes,
I mean?
sir. Appreciate you
Yes,
coming through.
sir. Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
Always be
Peace.
well.
And the
Now,
last thing I'm gonna say on that, which I never said, is just to add myself into this whole thing. I had two best men at when we got married because my wife had two, and what am I supposed to do? Not have two. So anyway, one of them took their life about 11 years ago. So I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So
Condolences.
yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
those to both of y'all. And like the brother said, purpose. But yeah, we wasn't letting that just breeze over, man. Because as a father, I could not imagine, as it's even thinking about it is just like to be honest, like I think about my own because I've always had nightmares ever since my grandfather died in the '80s, and still to this day, I jump myself out of sleep like, holy, nah, I gotta make sure I look at somebody to make sure I'm still here.
Yeah.
So this
Hey
shit is
yo,
real.
I feel you. I feel you on that because with my daughters now, like they'll see that I'll call at 4:30 in the morning. Like, what's up? You
Yeah,
good? You know what I mean? Just for a phone call. You know what I mean? So,
Ain't
but
yeah.
then
nothing
again,
wrong
I
with that.
also work till 7 o'clock in the morning every day.
And there's that.
Like, I'm up. Your ass better get up.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's see if we can touch on a little something more. I don't know, more direct, I guess. More
I
musical.
got a question because when
What's
you
up?
came in here about the music, right? Because I tagged you in it earlier because I just made this video a little
I,
earlier,
I
right?
I saw it right before I came on.
My man said that Biggie is not considered one of the greats because he don't have 3 albums. Now I love me some Mr. White. I'm gonna put that out there first of all. That's my dude.
That's
You
Stilo.
know what I mean? And starting 5, I watch you all the time. Me and you in the wrestling like heavy. I want you to understand that too, sir.
I know
But Biggie wrote the entire Junior Mafia album. It gotta count for something.
it doesn't in the scheme of things. I get Stroh's point, but no,
It got
no
to.
to him, no.
It
That's the
got
answer.
to.
No, I'm saying no to the answer to Stroh. No, Big is certified absolute legend. Big is
Definitely.
certified absolute legend. The only thing with Big for me, because I don't have him in my top five, my own personal top five, he's in my legends category. He's a guy that doesn't need to be quantified by a number. But when we talk Biggie, a lot of his lore comes from the people who were in studio with him and seen him do some of the incredible shit like I just got finished today listening to Shaq's Drink Champs, and he talked about how he had Biggie over the house to do the verse that he did with him on
Mhm.
that joint,
Right.
and how Shaq said Big got a verse that I'm never letting the world hear because he had to remind him, yo, this is kind of the kids got to hear this, and so Big gave us the verse that ended up on the song that they did.
You can't stop the
But
brain.
right, but he walked into the studio like, "Yo, I'm gonna give you the studio. I'm gonna be around the house. Just call me if you need me." He said, "Oh no, I'm ready." And it's stories like that of just knowing Big went in with no pen, no paper, and was able to go off. Had the rhymes already written fully in his head. It's hearing stories from the beat makers and producers and stuff who was in studio with him that carry that legacy on further. And then some of his music is just timeless. Like One More Chance plays on the radio till this day, at least
Right.
4 to 5 times a day.
I
A
got no
day.
problem. I got no problem with Big being in the go conversation. What you got to say, Short Bus?
I wouldn't put him in. I wouldn't put him in there. I wouldn't even put Tupac in there either.
He's not in mine either.
Well,
Legend.
yeah,
Tupac
Pac
or
ain't in my
Biggie.
GOAT conversation either.
But
Um,
why? But why though?
well, I just think lyrically, back in the day, I think Biggie was on top of being stylistically better than a lot of people. But I think there's so many more artists that I could put above Biggie. And Tupac, I think, brought that emotion. So if you were looking at it as strictly an emotion, he's like a DMX to me. DMX and Pac, I like DMX more than I like Pac. But lyrically, neither one of them impressed me to a certain point. Now I felt Tupac and I felt Tupac and I felt DMX, but
Right.
when it comes to overall artist, MC, when it comes, you got to have the style, you got to have the emotion, you got to have it all for me to put you in that top. And Biggie or Pac or neither one are in my top 10.
Hold it. First, keep going, Shortbus. You know what I'm gonna ask you about, so you might as well just go ahead and talk about him right now. Let's get it out the way.
K Reno is my top one. I don't know if you guys know who K Reno is, but overall, because I break it down to, are you original? Are your concepts? Are your stories? You got to have the whole package, the whole entire package, stylistically, double entendre, scheming out. You got to have the emotion. You got to be introspective. You got to have the whole entire package for me to put you in that top 10. And to me, there's a few up there, but to me, K Reno by far is ahead of everybody. I think his budget doesn't allow him because, he's a super underground artist. He doesn't have the $1 million budgets and a lot of that stuff that these people, you don't have the Sean Combs and the Dr. Dre's and, the Scott Storches. He's using these underground producers, but when it comes to storytelling, no one's even close. When it comes to rhyme patterns, that's the Rakim and Cool G rap, nobody's fucking with him. When it comes to just the enlightenment of the community that he's from and how he attacks it, just overall, I think, and plus he's got 50 albums. Who do you know got 50 albums? You know what I mean? 50 motherfucking albums. I think E40 is in second.
I got a problem. Only problem I have with that is he had 50 albums and I ain't never heard of one of them.
But hey,
that's fair.
And that's the only reason. Now I don't know the guy, so I can't say he ain't good or he ain't a GOAT or whatever. But he got 50 albums and I ain't never heard of one song. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, you disqualified a dude who was only alive for one album, and you can go outside and turn on the radio and bump him right now.
Who?
Biggie.
That's a totally different conversation, though.
But I'm just saying, I'm not saying that that my man won't be a GOAT. Shit, after I leave here, I'm gonna check him out just to hear some of his material.
Now listen. Hip hop. Why does MC Hammer get so much hate?
Not from me.
Because
right. But from the
hip hop is fickle. You know what I mean? One, how do you have a man who sold millions of albums? He was hip hop.
But listen, you got to remember that at a time, hip hop was considered underground. If you went mainstream and blew up and sold that many, you were considered a sellout. Now today, it's the total opposite. Everybody's like, I don't see you in a commercial. What is wrong? Back then, that was considered selling out. Doing merchandise, doing all that stuff was considered selling out. So if you go off the 80s and early 90s, kind of strategy of what you consider hip hop, that's the same reason a lot of those artists got, washed, and like MC Hammer, considered a sellout, and nobody took him serious because he was up there.
Until Redman discovered it.
Misfortune of not being able to rhyme. Like he also had the misfortune of not being good at all lyrically. Like,
right. But
there was quote a Hammer bar. You might be able to quote a Hammer.
Name one, you will be rewarded. My beats have a booming, and I get it started. Okay.
Name a Tupac bar. You know what I mean?
I'm going to say the same thing that everybody says. Tupac was a poet. But Tupac was a poet. Tupac's lyrics, while they weren't complex, they were passionate and to the point. To the point.
Yeah,
The fact that
facts.
he
But
had
he
the
got a
voice to
he
go
got
with
a
it.
he got an all-time great lyric. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Revenge is the
Revenge like
sweetest
the
joy.
sweetest joy.
Come on, homie. You can't
Hey,
what? That's like the
hey,
hardest opening line forever. What
But
are you
hey.
see,
talking about?
this is the beauty though about rap, because there's a reason why there's multiple lanes. Because to what we know of as bars nowadays, Pac was not that
Oh
guy.
yeah, not at
But
all.
Pac's lyrical genius was to be able to tell you that story, paint a picture in between enemies and Hennessy's. You know, in between enemies and Hennessy's, he was
Yeah.
able to tell you a story.
True.
Yeah.
Biggie was one of the best storytellers ever. And lyrically, for bars purposes, if he wanted to, could bar you down. My issue with them in the quote unquote top conversation was I'm from their era. They were being propped up, in my opinion, specifically because they died at the heights of their career. And
Yeah.
so
Definitely.
that emotional attachment
But that's a
kept
big deal.
most fans there. But were they nice? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
they were also different lanes. Hold on a second. Permission to speak freely. This is a free ass comment. Says this is why NYC rap is dead. They never respected the West, and the West worshiped NYC. That is absolutely false.
I
You
agree
had
with
your
that.
permission to
Yeah.
speak, but that is absolutely false. And
Right.
this
Yeah.
is coming from a person who grew up and still lives in Staten Island, New York, who first started loving rap music. Now remember, I live in the Mecca, the birthplace of this culture, the birthplace of rap music. West Coast music made me love the hip hop culture. NWA made me love rap music and start to dig further into rap music. And then on top of that, out here, cats were, if you want to talk to commercial artists, cats were bumping Dre. Cats were bumping Snoop. Cats were bumping NWA. People loved the DOC, who it looked like he repped the West, but was from Texas. And then let's get into, as Shortbus said, the underground feet side of rap. You couldn't tell me shit about the Loop Pack. You couldn't tell me shit about Madlib, freaking Madlib. You couldn't tell me shit about any of the DJs out there from the whole Invisible Scratch Pickles crew and all of that. Dilated Peoples, the
I
Licks,
was waiting for you to say that later.
all of the Lick. Yo, Evidence is one of those people that don't get talked about enough. Mr. Slow Flow was one of the illest writers, period. You know what I'm saying? Him,
Mm-hmm.
Chaka. And then we could get into the freestyle fellowships, AC Alone, and all of that. Far Side. Man, listen, the Bay Area, I probably was one of the few
Yeah.
people bumping hyphy shit. But New York loved the West Coast shit.
So
Don't
yeah.
ever think that shit.
Yeah,
New
that's a
York
straight
rap,
misunderstanding. Like my
huge
second favorite
misunderstanding.
rapper of all time was Cube. Like from
That
the jump, like Cube was like my dude as a kid.
dude, you mentioning Cube is the reason why I stop all these top five conversations and just say, remember, it's your personal top five. You can never make a universal top five. I know
No,
BET tried years ago, that shit was whack. But because I would always forget to put Cube in my top five, that's why I started the whole legends category. Those rappers that they don't need to be categorized. They are fucking great because they're great. And Cube is one of them. And then let's keep it real. You mentioned Cube. Cube did his whole first two albums where?
West Coast. Oh,
No,
you mean East
in New
Coast?
York
East Coast. You
with
mean
the
by
Bomb
itself?
Squad.
Yeah, by
So don't
itself. Yeah,
tell me, don't
yeah,
tell me New York ain't got no love for the West Coast. We know what happened at the Source Awards, but them niggas love Snoop and them. We love Snoop and them, man. Don't ever
oh yeah. I got a
respectfully
question.
speaking my mind freely.
I got a
Rhymer,
question.
hold up. Rhymer educator said he listening to this TED talk while he cleaned his pool.
I
Go
got a
ahead.
question.
Go ahead, Purp.
Yesterday, somebody said, right, and I want to know your opinion. If Will Smith cursed, if the Fresh Prince cursed, right, he would be considered one of the top 10 greatest rappers of all time.
You know what?
That is as dumb as saying the
You know what?
WNBA would be better because women can dunk.
Yeah,
Will
that's
is
dumb.
nice.
That's
Will
dumb.
is fucking nice.
Will is nice. Agreed.
Yeah, and creative and original. You know, the Nightmare on Elm Street story angle and things like that. You know, a lot of people, because that corny factor came into hip hop at one time. Oh, that's corny because it is because of that. You know what I mean? And so many people slept on that kind of shit just because, quote unquote, he was corny, but he wasn't. Dude was, yeah.
Let's think about people like that. Kid and Play.
Yeah.
What a vibe.
Yeah. Dope.
Yeah.
I got the Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince bootleg versus playlist. It's 15 songs right here.
Dope.
And I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah, they got joints, yo. They got joints. And yeah, I mean, was he corny? Whatever. You know, it's opinionated.
They say it was corny because it wasn't street. That's
the only reason. The only reason.
The rap came pushing in, and he wasn't gangster. He wasn't.
That's
considered
exactly
a
what was just said. Gangster rap is why he was considered corny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the funny part is, according to, and nothing. I'm not trying to be like the smack and all that. According to people, Will Smith would bust your hand to hand. Hand to hand.
Well, we did just see that.
Just saying, I'm not. You know, it's a difference between gangster and street, and it's all music when it comes like to the end. Sometimes you get older.
They all said that about MC Hammer too.
Right.
Oh,
that's the exact same thing. That's the exact
no, they said worse about Hammer. Hammer is one of those like don't fuck with him at all. Like
that's why I mentioned Redman learned the hard way. That's why I will mention I was gonna say MC Search learned the hard way.
Where is MC Search? I need MC Search to show up in a live or something. I haven't seen him on this app in months, and I know he's on here.
Hey, I loved third base back in the days, you know. So, hey, but MC Hammer was like one of those politicians, you know what I mean? He's gonna say all that neat and clean stuff on stage, but behind the scenes, you know what I mean?
The streets had his
No. Well, and not to mention he was Wu-Tang before Wu, because he had 713 people on stage with him.
Paying them all.
Everybody ever born in Oakland was out there joining.
And that's why he went broke then.
and that's exactly why he went broke.
Yo, you know his payroll was $1 million a month. At his peak. His payroll was $1 million a month.
That's a fair number.
And he signed one of the biggest deals ever at the time for what, 36 mil?
Hammer had cereal, a cartoon. Like
he was doing it.
Hammer the only other black man to have a cereal was Mr. T.
Master P does now.
Master P got everything.
Master P made his stuff though.
He got beans.
Rice, he got ramen.
Yeah.
He got drinks. He got chips. He got everything.
Yeah.
I don't know about them Mignani sneakers though. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I ain't hating.
What can I switch? Can I bring something up real quick?
Of course.
All right. So I've been thinking, could we, because the politicians, senators, congressmen, they keep cutting funding from education. And I think elementary, junior high, and high school are very important for these kids. What if we got together and stopped watching professional sports? Now, hear me out. We don't have to stop doing that per se, but put more effort. Let's say we go to the junior highs, start buying their merchandise. Instead of putting all those millions into these professional sports, we start taking that money and putting it into the educational system, supporting the chess team and the debate team and their volleyball squads and basketball squads. I mean, think about it, though. All that money these professional teams are making, we show up. And with all that money, we can help fund these teachers and better education. And for the schools, they can remodel. They can do all that because we know damn well these politicians ain't doing it. And I think that's where it all starts at. And if we, as a hip hop and the community, could we help these kids, flourish a lot better by our money that we already spend on. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. I got merchandise. I'm a, hey. But if I stop taking my money and buying that bullshit, and I go to these junior highs and start repping their clothes, you got thoughts on that or not?
Here's your answer to that, and I got you. One, my daughter goes to Curtis High School. I'm a Port Richmond High School alumni. I'm not buying Curtis High School gear, and I told her that because they were rivals. So, first and foremost, that's out the door. I love my daughter to death, but yeah, maybe I might think about it. Even though I told her we were rivals, but when I threw shot put and discus, we actually were cool as a team together. But to really what you're speaking to and talking back about hip hop culture, where we could utilize that, I feel you on the buying of merch from schools and stuff to try to help like that. Those monies usually just go towards direct programs. Maybe what really needs to be done is if we were able to find the time to start back music programs and side programs like that, because most of these educational systems, and I could definitely tell you in New York, most of music class, like I grew up with, we started off with the little recorder flutes like everybody else. Then you got to a band. You don't really see them anymore. You don't see music classes anymore, unless you're going to a trade high school. I don't hear about wood shop or auto shop or electric shop. I think those things would be more apt to invest in it personally if I was able to afford to, because
definitely.
We're more in a place now where the trades are coming back, and the trades are what is, it's hard to get into because they're unionized, and depending on the unions, it definitely runs family based. I'm in a union city in New York. My job is union, but my job you got to take a test to get on. But like carpentry shit like that, like carpentry union, the office is not far from where I work. They open their books up at least once a year, and there is a line that wraps around that building. People sleeping, waiting to get in to apply to be a part of that union. So I think for school purposes, those things need to come back. But more importantly, because this is a hip hop culture conversation, music programs are what's missing out of school. And what's missing out of school in a regular class curriculum. Because like my daughter Zoe in elementary school was doing a violin program, but they only reserved it for after school.
Right.
That's what Carlos just said. We had a hip hop culture group, but it was 45 minutes after school. It wasn't even an official class. Rhymer educator, are you listening right now? I know you got something to say. I know you're cleaning your pool. He's a teacher. That's why I'm talking to him. Any thoughts? Drop something in the comments. Clean the pool.
Hey,
Drop something in the comments.
Hey, Short, I'm at work. I gotta go check in real quick. I'll be right back. All right.
Okay.
I think with the sports and how engaged people are with sports today, if we all got engaged in that, I think that would do a snowball effect. We'd all get into city council meetings to show up to these school board meetings, and we could all vote and be intrigued.
You just mentioned what it actually could be. As we saw, we talked about it before, Dan, that Do It All from Lords of the Underground is a councilman. He's a councilman now. He won his election earlier this year. And I think the influence is probably going to come eventually from more people that are or consider themselves to be hip hop sliding into that political realm, whether they want to or not, no matter what basis they start at, like councilmen, and which are the people that really affect what goes on in different cities and different areas. I think more people will end up going that route to affect change than us from the outside, probably.
Right. Like Rhyme Educator actually re-uttered the words that I had mentioned before. Merch usually goes right back to athletics.
Gotcha.
And that's the truth. Like every year, my daughter comes in with the paper with the Curtis High School gear. we got to buy some. We got to buy some. Or this year, she was like, my coach is saying we must sell. And I'm like, who the fuck is your coach to demand that we buy this much?
That's a great question. That's
You know, that's what I said. Especially for, you know what? I'm not even going to go there because playing time has become an issue. And she's a sophomore on her volleyball team who is one of the better players on the team, but we're not going there. So who are you to demand? And then too, a side note, because shout out to my brother JP who started the starter five with me. He's big on high school basketball. He's also from South Jersey, where the nearest pro team is Philly. So Jersey doesn't really have any pro sports other than the Devils anymore, and maybe some minor league teams. And most states like that support high school sports. Me, I've always found it creepy as an adult to support high school sports when you don't have children that are not in high school.
That kind of popped in my head too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You feel me though? You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, that's just me. That's just me. That's my vibe. I'm not gonna sit back and go to a high school game when my kid ain't there. That's just my vibe. But I respect that it does need the support. But before my daughter got to high school, I did not give a fuck about high school sports going on in Staten Island because my kids ain't there. Right. And it's not just because my kids ain't there. It's just the world that we live in today. Too many chomos, too many
That's
creeps.
true. That's
hover
true.
around children. And I can't fuck with that at all.
Yeah.
you know? Sorry to bring that element.
Yeah, you can't be that grown man who show up.
I'm gonna drop my
by himself
I gotta
at
get
the
my
games
charger.
every week.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
You can't be that grown man who show up at the games every week.
Facts.
With no kid. You can't. That's, you know what I mean? That's just not gonna work out right for you.
Yeah, the damn pedophiles will fuck it up for everybody, you know?
Exactly.
Jeez.
You know
That's something I didn't even think about. Tell you the truth.
Yeah, because
I
mean, you show up to one game, you might be all right. That second game, well, who's your kid?
I ain't got one.
Yeah, I just like the children. Oh yeah,
especially middle school.
Yeah. Come over here. Let us talk to you behind these bleachers.
No, we go to football games. Like, there's lots of people that go to high school football games like that, and especially in like Texas. Texas, that's like college. That's like pro.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, Source. How are you gonna put a 3-6 above Bone Thugs?
Because I don't like. Sorry. I don't like Bone Thugs that much.
I hear you.
And look, I get it. If you're like, it's God versus the devil. I think we talked about that before. God versus the devil. I get it. Content wise, I get it. But I didn't say they were my, like, I choose one over the other. I said in that Verzuz.
Oh, okay.
In that Verzuz, Bone Thug was not 100%. Every time the music came on for 3-6, every time he started rhyming, it was like.
See, now that's the one thing I don't like about that's the one thing when it comes to the verses is everybody wants that pound and bump, and that's kind of unfair to Bone because Bone is more, you know what I mean? They have that bump and stuff, but they're more of, hey, I'm going to sit back and reminisce and think about life, you know, instead of pop a pill, shooting clubs, you know, but.
I feel what you're saying, but yeah. 3-6, in my opinion, 3-6 definitely was better prepared than Bone was. And part of
Fair enough.
They annihilated Bone.
Is off the chain, so.
Yeah.
They annihilated Bone, in my opinion, and rightfully so. Yeah. I personally love 3-6 over a lot of groups, yo.
Yeah, to me, it's just.
I thought you were gonna say I personally love the devil. Oh.
3-6 to me, lyrically was garbage. Their vibe was nice, jumping the whole time, but Bone is just more well-rounded. You know what I mean? They got when it comes to 3-6, every song is damn near the same. About tearing the club up, popping pills, and shooting people. You know, Bone Thugs, they have that. They have that element, but they got them crossroads, first of the months, and you know, just layers and layers and layers of stuff. And then 3-6 to me is kind of same shit on every song.
But also too, you have to look at the aspect of 3-6. You could actually understand them. Bone Thugs, a lot of people still couldn't understand that fast
Yeah,
flow. I
yeah, that's
could.
true.
I
Yeah,
That
could.
is true. That's true.
I
that's
actually
true.
had a homie. I actually had a homie who knew every lyric to every Bone song from their first 5 albums.
Hey, that was me.
There you go.
Yeah. Busy was the hardest to understand though. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but nostalgia does play a role. So I think if you listen to more 3-6, you're probably gonna lean that way. And I did listen to a lot more Bone, so I definitely was like, that nostalgia played in. Like I could remember where I was at. I was like, I was locked up in this institution the time that song came out, and it's all emotions and feels of sometimes. So at the end of the day, nostalgia does play a huge part in those verses for me, anyways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For me, like as far as verses, I think like people always like, well, what is verses based on? Is it based on hits? I'm like, nah, it's not really based on hits. I don't think it's based on hits. I don't think it's based on anything more than how that song translate right now. Like in this moment that we're in, during the verses or however it plays out. In that moment, how does that song translate? Now there are some songs that are bigger than that. There are some songs that are it's a hit. Like you're not gonna go against Nelly's most popular song. Like whatever song you put against it is probably gonna lose because it's that song. It was
But
that song in that
Luda
moment.
smacked him though.
Right, but Nelly won that one round. Other than that, even though Nelly went diamond, Luda dragged Nelly. That was the
because
worst dragging of all the verses. That was the worst one. That was the
because
worst
it
one.
was it the Versus absolutely is about hits. That's why the songs are selected in a certain way if done properly. Because
Nah,
Dipset failed immensely on that. They
it
were
wasn't
playing
based on
shit,
hits, bro.
but they
How was
didn't play
Dipset based on hits?
it. I bring them up because they didn't play. They played most of their hits in fucked up orders, in the
See,
wrong
now you're
order.
saying it's the order.
No, no,
The
but
Lots
it has to.
outperformed them on the
But
stage.
no, but all right. It was about what was your best songs and realistically your most notable songs. That's why I say it is about. It's one of the elements is the hit because you needed it when they brought it to the stage element. You needed the crowd to be singing along with you. You needed the crowd to start getting hype with you and all of that. So the hits had to be there, but song placement as far as order was another element to those hits. If you played them hits out of order, you were going to lose a battle. That's
I
just
don't
kind of
know.
that's how I viewed it. It and realistically, Versus as a whole was it's really just a celebration of one's
Right.
career. That's ultimately what it is. It's a celebration of one's career, but it is a callback to what made these artists.
The
And
the
those
thing
are the hits.
the thing about verses that I don't think a lot of people care to understand is that what you said, it is about a celebration. It is a celebration of the two artists. The only reason that is called verses, the only reason there is a blank versus blank is because people like controversy and people like a winner and a loser.
Yeah, they
Because
love competition.
if they said 3-6 Mafia and Bone Thugs will be doing songs, some people would show up. But they say 3-6 against Bone Thugs, everybody shows up because they're like, oh, which one is better? Which one is worse? Which one would get
Right.
dragged? Who would get embarrassed? So it builds up that. But it's all a celebration. It's a celebration of the music.
Yeah, it's a competition, and it's a competition of, like you said, it's a competition of my hit versus your hit. And in that moment on those stages, it doesn't mean because your Oscar-winning song, 3-6 Mafia,
Right.
could line up against Crossroads, and at that moment could get demolished.
Right.
It's just like how shout outs to the World Is Your podcast. I was on there fantasy football show yesterday, and I described to the dudes, even though one didn't believe me, as a football guy, as a football player. Every coach designs a play. Every single play in a playbook is designed to work.
Right.
But you need a defense to combat those. Same thing goes with the Verzuz. You gotta play defense with your offense by way of lining up them songs and where you play them. And
against
like
what
I
song?
said, I brought up the Locks and Dipset, how you play them. Dipset fucked up by how they played them. They were rhyming over their verses.
That
But
too. That's another part.
the Locks came through and did what they normally do and smoked them.
Jimmy Hicks said, "I love." Oh no, wait. He said, "Was it worse than Locks and Dip?" Yeah, it was worse. Luda over Nelly was the worst. It was the worst dragging. It was like 15-5, and I think I'm being generous with the 5. It was like 15-5. It was bad. Locks and Dipset was bad because it looked bad. It wasn't so much that the songs were better. It looked bad in the moment. But
it looked terrible.
It wasn't 15-5 like that joint. Luda and Nelly, that joint was dumb. It looked crazy, especially with Nelly having a diamond album. It looked stupid.
It looked beyond dumb.
Does Ludacris have that 3-6 element that Nelly doesn't? You know what I mean? When it comes to pounding and bouncing and throw them bows type shit. You know what I mean?
Luda got everything, to be honest with you. And I was a huge Luda fan. Like, for me, first 5 albums from Ludacris, he spit absolutely nothing whack. Nothing whack. And the difference between Nelly, I thought was whack. But he had a way of doing the catchy tune that became undeniable.
Yeah.
And with time passing, I think people realized, like, I dug Nelly at the time, but not really. Those songs were for the time.
That's it right there.
While Ludacris's joints kind of played out timeless.
Yeah.
And will still punch you in the face.
Yep.
While Nelly's shit fit that 2000 big white t-shirt, Band-Aid under the eye, jersey wearing era of the 2000s.
And that's okay. And that's okay for it to be that. It's okay for it to be that. But in a Verzuz setting, it is what it is. And it felt stale. The music felt stale. So that's what happens. It can't take away his diamond. Like, he still got diamond status. He's still, one of the greatest selling hip hop artists. But in that moment, no.
And again, I can't keep bringing it back to the Locks, but it was their performance, their stage presence, the fact that they did not rap over their lyrics. Dipset should have known better. Give your DJs the TV track. That's it.
But Dipset, I don't think Dipset could trust themselves. Also, I don't think Dipset was together at any point in time right before this happened. Before the Verzuz.
Yeah, and
I think everybody just came in from their separate corners.
Their lyrics in concert.
Say it again.
Dipset is also known to get their own lyrics in concert.
And you know they was getting clowned by the Locks if that happened on stage. So they had to have that track.
So let me ask y'all, since we're on Verzuz that I walked back into, what was y'all favorites?
Mine was Bone and 3-6.
Ooh.
I know you ain't asking me because we'll be here for the rest of the day listening to
I'm gonna go with Kane and KRS-One.
My favorite. That was one of my favorites too. Premier and RZA came second because RZA started off slow and then swamped fucking Premier.
Yo.
But the best one, still to this day, was Beanie and Bounty. Bounty and Beanie. I always put Bounty first because it was right in their wheelhouse.
Yeah,
they loved it too. Go watch on YouTube. Watch their Sting clashes. Every year I go back at least 3 or 4 times a year to watch sound clashes all the time. And they Verzuz can't do one with Ninja Man and Merciless because that shit would go just as crazy. But Beanie and Bounty was the best one to me, easily.
Yeah, that joint was crazy, especially when the police pulled up. When the police
Yep.
pulled up, that was hilarious.
Yep.
That was hilarious. I say I won't, because there's a bunch of them that I love. There's a bunch. Wildly enough, the only one that I've watched maybe 4 times is Brandy and Monica. I Something about that joint I've watched or listened to it multiple times. Erykah Badu and Jill Scott is one of my favorites. Easy. Raekwon and Ghostface
That was
was
fire too.
crazy. That was crazy.
The wardrobe changes and all that.
I love Meth and Red. I love Too Short and E40. Oh, that joint was hard. That joint was hard. So
Dog
it's plenty.
versus Dog was cool too.
Yeah, true.
Which one you think was the worst?
The worst that I saw.
Teddy Riley. That was damn near a shutout.
It wasn't bad though. The first time they got together and Teddy had all the first of all, this was COVID. We're not sure what's happening COVID time frame. You look at Teddy, they come on the joint. First of all, Teddy is late on the first joint. He was late. Babyface is sitting there chilling by itself. You cut to Teddy, it's him, and then you see multiple microphones in the background. You're like, hold on, this is a versus between 2 artists. Why this man got mic? Then you hear multiple voices in the room. We like, bruh, ain't you supposed to be by yourself? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
You know what? I'll retract that because as I was thinking about it, that actually was innovative of Teddy, and that you could say inspired the stage performance of it all.
That's true. That is true, actually.
Yeah.
But the worst to me, because it was so lopsided, was Scott Storch and Manny Fresh.
I didn't watch that one.
I got love for both of them, but you can't sit there and feel your own shit as hard as Manny Fresh did and think you were gonna win off the top. Like Scott Storch was just like laid back, like, yeah, fuck it, I got another smash for you. Bang, 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 bang. Hitting Manny Fresh, and Manny Fresh was playing bangers, but it just didn't work. And the vibe of it all was just kind of, it was there. That was the vibe of it. It was like it was there, but it wasn't the best one.
I'm sorry, y'all still all wrong because Marion and what's his name?
I ain't watched that bullshit.
Yo,
with the watermelon and all that.
I watched the whole joint.
Yeah, that was hands down the worst ass whooping in Verzuz. Hands down the worst ass whoop. Hold up, one guy beat all the people that came on stage that night.
That one was funny. No, that wasn't even the bad part. I mean, it was bad. Omarion, it was not good. The bad part was the pre-joint.
Yeah.
Bobby Valentino, Ray J.
I heard it was like a 4-on-4, some bullshit.
It was 2-on-2. It was
Verzuz. They had a Verzuz battle with 37 people and only 2 people could really sing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That was Mario and Tank. That was the only 2 people to sing the whole night.
By the look of your eyes in the camera, you got it. You won this one.
Yo, it was so embarrassing. Tank was like, you know what? This ain't my business.
Why not?
You got the hand, Tommy. This ain't my business.
Yeah, he should have stayed in the background on that joint. But the funny joint about that whole joint, I will mention, Brandy is the greatest sibling known to man. Because you would have thought that Ray J was out there killing it. She was out there, like she was in the background. You see her singing her brother lyrics and bigging up her brother, knowing that he's terrible right now. He was terrible on stage, but she was like, yeah, little brother, do your thing.
He should have just did a national Raycon advertisement.
Yeah, for real.
Or Scooty.
He should have brought out that Kim K tape.
He would have won. He would have made the battle over.
Okay,
that's a different battle. That's a different battle.
Like, I got this one. I got this one right now. Here you go.
Like, who said we battling over
Yeah.
me?
Right.
You know,
All right. Let me run down. I'm gonna run down. I'm just gonna throw out a couple of artists. Y'all just say something. Give me something quick about the artist, and we'll wrap it up like that. How about that?
Dope.
We'll go bottom to the top. Bottom to the top. So Shortbus, Dan, and Purpose. All right. Let's go with Method Man.
Method Man. Method Man, one of my favorite rappers, especially back in the days, and one rapper that today has elevated his schemes and his double entendres that he could compete with the battle rappers today. So Method Man is by far one of the most elevated rappers out there. Like some rappers will change their sound, but their lyrics don't elevate. But with Method Man, he's top elite MC.
Which he also did.
Even today.
He displayed that by battling Math Hoffa underneath a overpass on Staten Island. But
Yes.
Method Man, certified legend, who only got better once he stopped cursing.
Woo!
mhm.
Hey,
Method Man,
K
one
Reno
of the
doesn't cuss
best
in his raps
styles
either.
I ain't
in
give
hip
him
hop
props
ever.
for that. Look, Reno, I'm just saying. Because Heavy
Well,
D
I know.
didn't
I just want to.
don't curse,
I want
even
to
though he
throw
did.
that out to
I feel you.
elevate K Reno a little bit.
I
Yeah.
feel you.
Meth also has one of the best voices and styles in hip hop ever.
And that is a fact. That Meth is one of the highest responses I got on the voices question that I dropped earlier this week. I was surprised. I really didn't think about Meth. I thought people were going to go with more distinct voices or more unique voices. I was waiting
Be
for a
real.
lot of E40,
See,
but
I
it was
didn't
a lot
chime
of
in
Meth.
on that, but
I
I
didn't
was
hear
gonna
no. Did anyone say Snoop on that? Because I
Yeah,
didn't hear.
a few people mentioned Snoop in the comments.
see. I would have went nowhere near there because
Oh, me
some of
neither.
my favorite verses is Rock, Lord Have Mercy, like them distinct. There's no telling that's anybody else's voices. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I was gonna go there. That's why I left it alone because people would have been like, "Wait, who was that?" Forgetting, like
Oh no,
especially
no.
forgetting the Lord have.
People did videos talking about Rock is monster.
Okay, good, good. And I was gonna say Meth ain't even the best member out the Wu, but we're gonna leave that for another day.
No, he not.
Meth will tell you himself. It's
Well,
Deck.
who is?
It's Deck.
Yeah, Spectre Deck got the best. Is
It's
lyrically
Deck.
the best.
The best rapper in the group next to the
Mm-mm.
Jizza. It's Deck.
You said next to the Jizza in your opinion?
In my opinion, Ghost is up there too, but Deck easy.
Well, what do you think? What happened? What happened with Dak? I know the flood.
Nothing. He's been working.
No, I'm
He stay
saying
working.
from the beginning to now.
Nothing. The man's been making beats. He has several solo albums. The last albums he's been doing was joint projects with 7L and Excelsior as far as Czarface. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
still killing it. It's just you're not gonna get it in mainstream platform. You have to stop. And this is what I implore everybody. Like I told people, like I told Sakia in a response video the other day, y'all have to stop being hip hop lazies and you got to get back to the art of digging. Your favorite rappers, most of them are still doing shit. And your favorite sound is still out there. Stop being lazy.
That is 100% true. That is 100% true. Well, this was dope, y'all. This was dope. I appreciate y'all taking the time to come on and chop it up. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to say any last words you want to share. Feel free. Start with Purpose.
All right. Well, I say the same thing every time I leave. Whoever out there abandoned me every time I go live, your mom, I'm gone.
Hey yo, I ain't got it like that because I barely go. I fought for the ability to go live and I don't even utilize it. But you could check us live every Sunday morning at 1 o'clock on our YouTube channel, the Star and Five Podcast. Please come follow me here on TikTok. I follow back, especially if you make content. My link tree is in my bio to find us on the Star and Five Podcast everywhere.
Word. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, blessings to everybody, man. I'm just here on this journey and I love talking hip hop. I love talking nostalgia. all kinds of things. But hip hop is something that I don't get a chance to talk to certain people a lot. So this is a very beautiful thing. And let's keep rolling, guys. Thank you very much, Source. I appreciate you, bro.
No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate y'all coming on. Hopefully the recording of this will be solid. You know how TikTok does. That's a little funny sometimes, but if I can get this solid, then I'll throw it on YouTube within the next couple of days and add it as another episode of Source Company. For all who checked in, appreciate you. I'm not going anywhere as of yet. Not yet. I'll probably stay on for another half hour. But appreciate you, Shortbus.
Yes, sir. Let me figure out. I ain't been live in forever. So
Oh, for real? I because
yeah, it's been a
it used to be
while.
an X. It used to be an X in the corner. Now that joint is
Oh,
gone.
I think